You know that feeling, right? An old song pops up on your playlist maybe, or you catch a whiff of something familiar like sunscreen or cut grass, and boom, you're just transported. Maybe back to like baking Christmas cookies with your grandma.
Oh, definitely. Or that first time you drove somewhere far with your friends.
Exactly. That feeling, that kind of sentimental pull to the past.
Yeah.
It usually feels incredibly good, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's something pretty much everyone experiences, you know? But we don't often stop and think, why? Why does it hit us so strongly?
Right. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Why does nostalgia feel so good? What's actually going on inside our heads, you know, neurologically?
And what does it do for us, like in our day-to-day lives, for our well-being?
Yeah. We're going to unpack its surprising origins, definitely look at the benefits, but also get into its more complex side, because there's some fascinating recent research on this.
Because it's not just comfort and warmth, even though that's a big part of it. Nostalgia is, well, it's more intricate than it looks. It's got these bright spots for sure, but also some trickier aspects maybe we don't always notice.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning then. Because the history, like you said, it's actually really surprising. You'd think nostalgia always meant that sort of warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, you would. But nope. It's completely the opposite originally.
How so?
Well, what's really interesting is the word itself, nostalgia. It was actually coined way back in 1688.
Wow, that far back.
Yeah, by a Swiss medical student, Johannes Hofer. And he made it up from two Greek words, nostos,
which means?
Return,
Yeah.
and algos,
Yeah, okay.
which means pain.
Pain. So painful return. Wow, that's really different from how we use it now. It was literally about pain.
It absolutely was. Initially, it was seen as a pretty severe medical condition, maybe even neurological. Hofer mostly saw in Swiss mercenaries, soldiers fighting far from home.
Extreme homesickness.
Exactly. But it went beyond just feeling sad. He actually listed physical symptoms. Things like melancholy, sure, but also insomnia, anorexia, weakness, anxiety, even shortness of breath and heart palpitations.
Whoa. That sounds more like a serious anxiety disorder or maybe depression today.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, not a metaphor. It was a diagnosed sickness.
And they thought only the Swiss got it. That seems kind of specific.
Right. He thought it was curable, but for a good while, the medical world genuinely believed it was this uniquely Swiss problem.
Huh. When did that change?
Well, eventually, similar symptoms started getting noticed elsewhere. In the French army, among American soldiers during the Civil War. So that Swiss-only idea kind of fell apart pretty quickly.
It just goes to show how our whole understanding of emotions changes over time, doesn't it?
Totally. Even into the 20th century, nostalgia was still sort of lumped in with psychiatric issues, like a type of depression.
But then gradually,
yeah. The meaning broadened out. It started encompassing these more positive, more complex feelings, much closer to how we think of it now.
It really shows how, society and science shape how we even label our feelings.
Exactly. And maybe as the world started changing faster, that idea of longing for a time, not just a place, became more common.
Okay, so how did we get from painful return to the feel-good power we mostly talk about today? What's the science behind that feeling?
Right, well, that's where your brain's reward system kicks in. When you recall positive memories, it can actually trigger that circuitry. It's a bit like the pleasure you get from, say, winning a bit of money or something.
So it gives you a genuine mood boost.
It does. And interestingly, it's not always about consciously trying to feel better.
What do you mean?
Well, there was this one study where people were asked to recall different types of memories, positive, neutral, negative. They didn't know the real aim.
Okay.
And the ones who recalled positive memories, they reported feeling significantly better afterwards, even without trying to cheer themselves up. Some people even came out of the fMRI scanner saying things like, hey, that was fun, just from thinking about happy times.
Wow, so the act of remembering itself is pleasurable.
It seems so. And get this, recalling positive memories might even act as a kind of buffer against stress.
Like a shield.
Sort of. In one experiment, students were asked to recall either happy or neutral memories. Then they had to stick their hands in ice water, which is pretty stressful.
Ouch. Yeah.
The students who just recalled happy memories, they showed almost no jump in their stress hormone levels, cortisol.
Seriously, while the others did.
Yep. The ones recalling neutral memories had the expected cortisol spike. So it's like the positive memories somehow inoculated them against the stress.
That's incredible. It's like our brains are actively working to protect us using our own past. Does memory itself help with this? Like how we naturally remember things?
It absolutely does. There's something called the fading effect bias.
Fading effect.
Basically, it means that over time, the negative emotions tied to a memory tend to fade faster than the positive ones. It's adaptive, right? Helps us move on.
So that terrible decision from college feels less agonizing now, maybe even a little funny.
Exactly. Or that awful haircut just becomes a good story. Your brain is kind of editing your past to be less painful.
I appreciate my brain doing that.
And it seems to be pretty universal, this bias.
Yeah.
Plus, there's another thing. As we get older, we tend to develop what's called the positivity effect. Meaning we increasingly prefer to remember and focus on the positive stuff, which, again, helps with general well-being as we age.
So our brains seem kind of wired to look on the bright side more as time goes on. But beyond just feeling good, what else does nostalgia do for us, psychologically speaking? What does the research show?
Oh, quite a bit. Experimentally, nostalgia has been shown to directly boost self-esteem and foster optimism about the future. It seems to help people feel like life has more meaning. It can even reduce that feeling of searching for meaning, suggesting it kind of provides it.
So it's not just a fleeting feeling. It actually helps ground us, gives us a sense of purpose.
Yes, and it's huge for social connection.
Oh, so?
Nostalgia increases feelings of being supported, connected to others. It can even make people more trusting. And this isn't just feelings. It can lead to actual pro-social behavior.
Like what?
Like being more willing to help someone, even a stranger, or donating to charity after experiencing nostalgia.
That's amazing, turning those warm internal feelings into real-world kindness.
It is pretty remarkable. And finally, it definitely serves this restorative function, like a buffer.
Against negative stuff.
Exactly. Against things like feeling threatened or like life is meaningless or feeling lonely. If you feel like you don't belong, nostalgia can sort of conjure up those meaningful relationships in your mind, strengthening that sense of connection, even if just symbolically.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly positive. Like nostalgia is this amazing mental tool for happiness, resilience, connection. But you hinted earlier, it gets complicated. Where's the catch?
Right. This is where we hit that ecological validity gap.
Ecological validity. What's that?
It basically means how well lab findings translate to the real world. See, in the lab, researchers often ask people to recall their most nostalgic memory.
Ah, the highlight reel.
Exactly. The big, powerful, usually very positive ones. But in everyday life, nostalgia pops up differently.
Makes sense. The triggers are all over the place.
Totally. Like you said at the start, sensory stuff is huge.
Yeah.
Smells, sounds, that old song, or just seeing an old photo pop up on your phone unexpectedly.
Yeah. Those can be powerful.
And it's not always triggered when things are great, is it?
Right. You mentioned it comes up during big life changes.
Moving house, retiring, changing jobs. Those transitions often bring up nostalgic thoughts. It seems to be a way to cope, maybe by remembering times you got through challenges before.
Or just talking with friends, right?
Yeah.
Remembering shared stuff.
Definitely. But here's the really counterintuitive bit from daily diary studies.
Okay.
People were actually more likely to report feeling nostalgic on days when something negative happened, like a setback at work or a social disappointment.
Wait, really? So on bad days, we dip into nostalgia more. That kind of flips my whole idea of it.
It does, doesn't it? And this leads to some interesting findings about everyday nostalgia.
Like what?
Well, when researchers looked at nostalgia as more of a personality trait, like how prone someone is to feeling nostalgic in general, using new scales for this.
Okay.
They found that people who scored higher on trait nostalgia actually reported, on average, lower overall well-being.
Lower? Wow.
Yeah.
That directly contradicts the lab stuff.
It seems to. Higher trait nostalgia was linked more with negative feelings, sadness, regret, even depression and neuroticism, and sort of an avoidance motivation.
Oof. So it's not all sunshine and roses when you look at it that way.
Not entirely, no. Now, it wasn't all negative. Trait nostalgia also correlated with thinking positively about the past, enjoying present moments, and having higher empathy. So it's mixed.
Okay, more complex picture.
But specifically looking at moment-to-moment feelings in daily life, nostalgia was pretty consistently linked to an increase in what they call negative deactivated affect.
Which is like feeling down, low energy.
Yeah, kind of sad, maybe a bit withdrawn or depressed. While it might give you a brief spark of positive excitement, it could also, paradoxically, make you feel less calm or relaxed overall.
And that held up even when they accounted for the bad stuff happening that day.
It did. Which suggests the nostalgia itself, in those everyday moments, might carry that bittersweet, slightly melancholic tinge.
So thinking about your absolute most nostalgic memory in a lab makes you feel great.
Right.
But a random wave of everyday nostalgia washing over you might actually feel kind of sad, or at least mixed.
That seems to be the pattern. One study directly compared them. The most nostalgic memories were rated way more positive and much less negative than the typical daily ones. Those everyday nostalgic moments were often no more positive than just ordinary, non-nostalgic daily experiences.
Okay, that's a really important distinction. Does this mean there are actual downsides to this everyday, more complicated nostalgia?
Potentially, yes. For one thing, if you get too attached to the past, it could maybe hold you back, right? Make you feel stagnant.
True.
And for people who already tend to worry a lot, thinking back even to fond memories can sometimes backfire and actually increase feelings of sadness or anxiety.
So it really depends on the person and maybe the type of nostalgia.
It seems so. It's not a universal fix-all, and for some, it might even be detrimental sometimes.
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
So it's about being mindful of how and when we engage with it, which brings us to maybe the deeper purpose of it all. Beyond just mood swings.
Exactly, because nostalgia is deeply tied to our autobiographical memory.
Our life story.
Precisely. It helps us weave together a coherent narrative of who we are. It's about making sense of our journey.
Connecting the dots, past, present, future.
Yes. That process builds what psychologists call global self-continuity. That feeling that you are the same person across time, connecting your past self, your present self, and who you expect to be.
That sounds really fundamental.
It is. It brings a sense of order, deepens self-understanding, and maybe that's why we have this innate urge to, document our lives.
Through journals or photos.
Or even just keeping little keepsakes, right? That tawdry little snow globe from a vacation someone mentioned in a study.
Huh. Yeah. Or maybe even all our social media posts, in a way.
Could be. A digital memory box. And think bigger than just us as individuals. Nostalgia can be collective too, right?
You mean like for a whole group or country?
Exactly. It's not always just personal memories. It can involve these shared, often idealized projections of a pastime.
Ah, like the good old days.
Precisely. And this can be used, sometimes deliberately, say, in political messages, conjuring up these often quite vague images of bygone golden ages to rally people.
How does that work?
It often involves what's called nostalgic idealization, attributing really positive qualities to the past or to past social bonds to kind of reconstruct a sense of belonging or shared identity now.
That's powerful. So it's shaping identity on a massive scale, not just personal memories.
Ultimately, it taps into that fundamental human need for meaning. When our sense of meaning gets shaken up, nostalgia can help build new connections, new ways of understanding our place, linking back to core needs like belonging, security, stability.
Wow. Okay, so this has been a fascinating dive. It's clear nostalgia is, well, it's incredibly rich, complex, way more than just that simple, warm, fuzzy feeling.
Definitely not just fuzzy. It clearly can bring joy, boost our self-worth, strengthen our connections, even help us handle stress, especially when we deliberately think back to those really cherished moments.
But the day-to-day experience, that can be much more bittersweet. It often pops up when we're facing challenges, or it might even come packaged with a bit of sadness or longing.
It's a real mix, isn't it? A subtle dance between the positive and the negative, much like life itself, really.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So maybe the takeaway for you listening is, next time that old song comes on or you stumble across an old photo, just take a second. Notice the feeling.
Ask yourself, when do you feel nostalgia most? Is it something you seek out, like looking through old albums? Or does it just wash over you unexpectedly?
And maybe thinking about these different sides of it, the purely joyful versus the more bittersweet, could help you engage with your past more mindfully.
Right. Maybe you can learn to consciously tap into its positive power when you need that boost, while also understanding and accepting its more complex, sometimes challenging nature, knowing it's all part of being human and part of your unique story.
That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into memory, the past, and all the feelings that come with it.
My pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another exploration. See you then.